Eye-Gore. Ooh! Hello, everybody! Welcome to Melbourne Musos! Ho, ho, ho! Oh, dramatic, brutal. Oh! No, it's pronounced Eye-Gore. Oh. Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm going to talk about my two favourite Eye-Gores. Ooh! As I said, my name's Chris Quinlan. Welcome to Melbourne Musos Facebook Live. And what I'm going to do tonight is talk about one of the most famous pieces in the classical realm. One of my favourite pieces of all time is Eye-Gore Stravinsky, Sacre du Printemps. I had to study this for year 12 back in the late 70s. And there you go. So there it is there. And, conducted by Lenny Bernstein. When you're a jet all the way. I'm going to do a show on him pretty soon too. And, if I can reach it, Eye-Gore. My favourite film of all time, compared with my favourite music of all time. The two Eye-Gores, mate. Hey! So I'm going to get stuck straight into it. A couple of weeks ago, I did a show. I think it's going to be up on beloved Channel 31 next Wednesday. About drumming with Dmitri Shostakovich. Like I always say with Dmitri, if he had a death metal drummer, if a death metal drummer existed in the 1930s, he would have used them. And so the same with Eye-Gore. He did it anyway. And what it is I might as well get it out. This is my score of Sacre du Printemps, the Rite of Spring. Have a look at it. Read that, will ya? And it's going yellow. Woo! There you go. And I'll take you through it. Back around about 13 years ago, I'm going to put it up too. I did a drum version of it. And when I first started with the triggers, the triggers here, all this business, there you go. Bit of a Frank Zappa influence. There you go. And what this is my little arrangement that I did. I did a full-blown study of it when I was 18, was I? 17, 18. And I didn't know what I was listening to, but I studied it. It was the most impressive thing. It was wonderful. And then a while ago, I just took it to bits. And I wrote all the bits. There you go. Oh, my Lord. You can see the work. There you go. I do love it so. There it all is there. All the changing time signatures. All the different things. I'll put it up later. I've got to dig it out of the library. And I might put it up from about, when was it? When did I do it? About 2011, so it was a dozen years ago. Anyway, here it is. And here's the first opening bit, one of the classic bits. It's iconic. There it is. Oh, beautiful. But getting into drums, we'll get back into it. But getting into the drums, that is the introduction, the adoration of the polyrhythm, is what I've got written down here. The notes within it, he uses minimal notes, very minimalistic in his notes, does Eye-Gore. And it's C, B, G, E, B, A. There you go, and you sort of move from it from there. Now, what happens with it now is that the second bit, which goes... Oh, little snippets. Oh, soaring through their cello they are. Oof. Let me take you through it. It's in 2/4. And what happens is that you have... Oh, well, I'll put it down here. Oh, no, I'll put it up here. Come on. Be professional, Chris. Come on. Hey! So what you've got there is... 2/4. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2. Having a bombasm again. Is that a word? Eee! So there it is there. Now let me talk about the rite of spring, le Sacre du Printemps, just a little. So we're dealing with Eye-Gore, and but I'm going to actually talk about the piece of music. Okay, I'll get to Eye-Gore. There we go. Where are we? The rite of spring, French, le Sacre du Printemps. Is a ballet and orchestral concert work by the Russian composer Eye-Gore Stravinsky. It was written for the 1930 Paris season of Sergei Diaghilev's Ballet Russe company. The original choreography was by Vaslav Nijinsky, with stage designs and costumes by Nicolas Roach. When first performed at the Theatre des Champs-Élysées on 29th of May 1913, the avant-garde nature of the music and choreography caused a sensation. Many have called their first night reaction a riot or near riot, though this wording did not come about until reviews of later performances in 1924, over a decade later. Although designed as a work for the stage with specific passages accompanying characters and action, the music achieved equal, if not greater, recognition as a concert piece and is widely considered to be one of the most Get your lips together, Chris. To be one of the most influential musical works of the 20th century. That's why I'm talking about it tonight. Stravinsky was a young, virtually unknown composer when Diaghilev recruited him to create works for the Ballet Russe. Le Sacre du Printemps was the third such major project after the acclaimed Firebird, 1910, and Petrushka, 1911. The concept behind the Rite of Spring, developed by Roach from Stravinsky's outline idea, is suggested by its subtitle, Pictures of Pagan Russia in 2 parts. The scenario depicts various primitive rituals celebrating the advent of spring, after which a young girl is chosen as a sacrificial victim, oh dear, and dances herself to death, oh boy. After a mixed critical reception for its original run and a short London tour, the ballet was not performed again until the 1920s, when a version choreographed by Leonid Massine replaced Nijinsky's original, which saw only 8 performances. Massine's was the forerunner of many innovative productions directed by the world's leading choreographers, gaining the work worldwide acceptance. Watch out for your W's, Chris. In the 1980s, Nijinsky's original choreography, long believed lost, was reconstructed by the Joffrey Ballet in Los Angeles. Stravinsky's score contains many novel features for its time, including experiments in tonality, meter, rhythm, stress, and dissonance. Analysts have noted in the scores a significant grounding in Russian folk music. Regarded as amongst the first modernist works, the music influenced many of the 20th century's leading composers and is one of the most recorded works in the classical repertoire. There you go, Eye-Gore. Ooh! Ooh!
You must be Eye-Gore.
No, it's pronounced Eye-Gore.
There we are. So... one of the things that it does is really brings in a lot of polytonality, where you have different sections playing in different keys, things like that. And what happens is, they work off each other to a certain point. And then what also happened was not only polytonality, is also doing very much polyrhythmically. So you have two rhythms based off each other. Now when I go back to my notes here, there you go, that I played long ago. You've got sections where there's so much change of time signature. The London Philharmonic Orchestra has a wonderful little animated clip of the music going across, and it's like a challenge. Can you play it like 1 and 2 and 3 and all these changing time signatures? And that's in the ritual of abduction, which is the third section. And have a gawk at this. This is what you've got. You've got 3, 4, and then 4 plus 5 over 8 equaling 9. Now, when you've got things like 4 plus 5, we know it as 9, 8, but the subdivisions are 4 and 5. So if you're thinking like 4, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm staying with the bombasm tonight. Bang. There it is. Ooh. But then you have a whole bunch of changing time signatures. You have 7, 8, 3, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 4, then 9, 8 in the normal compound triple time of 3, 3, 3. A lot of people think 9, 8's an odd time signature. I don't think as such, because it's compound triple. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? Or if you like, it's a waltz in triplets. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a boom So you don't call it an odd time. You don't call 3, 4 an odd time. I've seen people say that and going, boo! There you go. And then it goes into 3, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 3, 8, 4, 8, 5, 8, 6, 8, 5, 8, 2, 8. I don't know why I'm yelling. I'm being bombastic. And that's the third section. Oh my Lord, lots of time signatures. Now, the thing about the changing of time signatures was Eye-Gore always said, with that section, I just wanted a feeling of timelessness, sort of thing. So if you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, you got the time there, no worries at all, beautiful. But he didn't want that. He wanted different things. He wanted to bounce around, as if you're floating around doing different things. And that's what he created. That's why people are still studying it to this day. Then you have things like spring rounds, all this sort of business. But the next little part that I want to really talk about, don't really want to talk about the tonality so much, because that's actually one of the reasons why I bought the triggers way back when in 2010, 2011. I just bought a set of 5 for a 5-piece drum kit. Big ass Doris, you got a few more now, all the little red ones, but they're getting quite old. I repair them regularly now. But what it is the idea of polyrhythm, all that. Because what it is if I go back to tonality just for a second, when you're getting wonderful things like oh, beautiful. Yum, 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 yum. Beautiful. There you go. That's the opening bit. Beautiful. Anyway, there you go. And what happens is he uses minimalist melodies. It's quite melodic, okay, but very small. And what I did was, when I was writing all this out way back when, I was looking at it, and it suited the triggers perfectly, because everything was sort of like 4 and 5 note figures, and I go, well, that's how many triggers I've got. And so things like Ritual of the River Tribes, E, F, G, A. When you're looking at the second part of that, it is D, E, F, G. And then he's working it out through the melody and the polymeters. And there you go. Now, here's something with polyrhythm and polymeter. Polyrhythm is two rhythms played against each other, like 3 against 2. Nice cup of tea, nice cup of tea, nice cup of tea, nice cup of tea. See the big fat piggy, see the big fat piggy. This is 4 against 3. 3 against 2, nice cup of tea. And there you go. But polymeter is when you have 2 time signatures against each other, you see. So what Eye-Gore was doing is that he was having at times the, what have I got here? Okay, there you go. There's polymeter over 3. So there's an overlaying 3, underlying 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then over the top, instruments were playing in 4/4, maybe 5/4, all sorts of things. And because it was based on old Russian folk melodies, sometimes they're in odd times, like in 5 and all that. One of the first people to put together odd time signatures per se was Tchaikovsky, who's famous for "Have a nookie with your gumboots on, have a nookie with your gumboots on, have a nookie with your gumboots on, have a nookie with your gumboots on." Dance of the Earth, number 6. It's very triplety. Polyrhythms over semiquavers. Ooh! And there you have it. So quiet but building and all sorts of things. Now let me talk about that from a drumming perspective before I go back to a classic perspective. One of the things when you're listening to Zappa, you're listening to Dream Theater, you're listening to all sorts of Tool, all sorts of classic bands, even Phantomas, who I mentioned last week, and things like that. They're all dealing with polyrhythms of a certain kind, okay? Like even when you're listening to Jimi Hendrix's Purple Haze, of all things. I do play guitar as well. And I've got everyone's got the book of Jimi Hendrix, haven't they? All that. But when you're looking at the outgoing solo, right at the end, at the fade out, Hendrix is playing all quintuplets. With the held note at the end of Purple Haze. So if Jimmy can do it, so can we. And what happens is resolution points. So what starts to happen is when you're starting to deal with certain things. I'll stick to there. I'll stick to bombasm. There you go. Now let's say I'm doing a 3. That's a little bit of a thing from Neil Peart from one of his solos, Der Trommler, which means the drummer in one of their live things. And he was doing the backwards waltz, like a normal waltz feel with your feet is right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left. Da 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 da. But he did it backwards. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So. So what you've got is resolution. So if I've got that, and there's 5. Right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left. Like, oh, get your lips together, Chris. Yeah, 5 against 3. Dance to that, I dare you.
You must be Eye-Gore. Pronounced Eye-Gore.
Ooh! You're putting me on.
Putting me on.
There it is! Oh! So you can do lots of different things, you see. So what happens is if you're playing in a polymetric or polyrhythmic style, you're juxtaposing, I love that word, juxtaposing either two different rhythms, polyrhythm, or two different time signatures against each other, which Tool is famous for, the band. And what happens is that you might have lots of different things happening, but you might have 4/4, but you might be playing 3/4 against it, you know, that kind of thing. So it gets pretty simple. I'll do it as a bit of a bombastic rock bit. What shall I do? You want me to do 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, and it resolves itself. You just do simple math. 5 times 4, 20. Comes back around every 20 beats. Stuart Copeland is famous for saying that when he got asked once upon a time, what do you do about odd times? He said, don't worry about them. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, they come back every 2 bars anyway. And he's right. So if I do the 5, the first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to the start. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Curly ending. I better get a wriggle on if I'm just going to make this a half-hour show. Oi! Anyway, there you go. There's Le Sacre du Printemps. And what goes on is there's a part in the second part. It's made up of 2 parts, and it's wonderful. You've got 11 beats that go whack. There's a version by Lauren Mazel, the composer, who does it at half-time, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It sort of just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Bop, rid-up, bop, rid-up, bop, rid-up, bop, rid-up, bop. I'm having beer later, not before. There you go. So that's what goes on, and straight after, bump, rida, oompa, 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 in 9/8. There you go. And lots of different things. Have a look. Now, the aforementioned resolution point, there you go, I'll put it up to that one there. And what you've got is a series of septuplets, 7s. Of course, Gina Lola Brigida. And underneath it, I did it with the bass drum, but I did quavers, triplets and semi-quavers underneath the 7. Oh! I don't know if I can do that now. I'm getting a bit on, I'm getting a bit of a wriggle on the old thing. But have a look at that bit there. Lots of time signature changes, wrote it all out. Do you see? I hope you can see it. I hope it's not getting all shiny with the lights and stuff. But there it is there, lots of different things. Look at the time signatures here. 3/16, 2/16, 3/16, another 3/16, 4/16, 2/16, 3, another 3, 4, 3, 3, 5, 4, all 16, 3, 4, 5, bang, 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 4/16. Oh, it just keeps on going, amazing stuff. Oh boy, that's the sacrificial dance. Ah, beautiful. Okay, that's my written out little Duvalaki that I did once I got the triggers a long time ago. What the thing is when I do triggers and things like that, I often get asked about it with the big ass Doris here. Of course we go to dear Terry Bozzio as far as the biggest drum kit in the world kind of deal, but that's not the point. He treats it like a piano. And he still is trying to prove a point. It's as melodic and the drums are as important as any other instrument in a band or orchestra. or whatever. And Stravinsky proves the point with Sacre, with all the times and everything that he does with the rhythm, so percussive. And so when I go over to the left to the piccolo toms here, and they are designed by Terry Bozzio along with DW, is that when I take out the triggers for a second, where am I doing there? There you go. It's just a simple pentatonic. Okay. Now all of this even precedes Terry, because the first drummer who was really trying to play melodically as a jazz drum solo and playing tunes was Max Roach, you see. So there's a bit of credence to it. It's not just, no, take that out to a gig. Well, but when I got the triggers, I was able to start using patches to get all the different scales, all sorts of different things. A couple of weeks ago I did the drumming with Dimitri thing like I mentioned. And then, but tonight is all very percussive with the very orchestral sounds. You know, I always refer to Melbourne Symphony Orchestra's concert bass drum. They've got it. It's the best sound ever. Even when I listen to my other recordings of Shostakovich and stuff like that, the German bass drum, yes, it's big, but it doesn't have that big sound like MSO does. I better wrap this show up. Ooh! Oh, the two Eye-gores. Oh. My name is Eye-Gore Quinlan. And this is Melbourne Musos. Who should know? How bombastic. And I'll have this up for you tomorrow and then on Channel 31 in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody. Oh, putting on the Ritz.